Okay, I'm ready for 16 hours of sliming. So I'm here to find out what kind of work was here, how it was to work in this place, and whether it's more difficult than writing, which it probably isn't, because writing is a very difficult job. Get a lot of calluses and paper cuts, and loading printer paper can be quite arduous.
My name is Mark, and I work at the Gulf of Georgia Cannery National Historic Site as a costumed interpreter. This is a historical fish cannery that opened up in 1894. It was the largest and busiest of the 15 canneries right here in Steveston. We closed our doors as an operating plant in 1979, and now this building exists as a relic to a bygone West Coast fishing boom. You know, Steveston was a gold rush town back in the turn of the 20th century, and the gold was not gold, it was Pacific salmon.
Right.
Boats would have moored up to the dock right here, and then it would have been the job of the people working on the receiving floor to get all the fish from the boat up and into the cannery using a stick, just like this one here.
This is some sort of medieval torture implement as well, I think. We have these in England. Okay, they're really heavy as well. I got one here. That was pretty easy. And I put it over here, look. Okay, so I'm done for the day now. So I'm finished. I'll probably go and have a 2-hour coffee break at this point. This is not a fresh fish, so I don't know what they were bringing in here, but I wouldn't eat this. So, yeah.
Why don't you take a seat on the scale here? We'll find out how much you would be worth if you were a salmon. If you were a pink salmon, I would put you at about $13. If you were a sockeye, you could be almost up to $45.
Oh really? Yeah. But why am I a pink salmon then? How did that happen?
Well,
can't I be a sockeye?
Well, it's valued less. So.
As a writer.
As a writer.
That's my going rate.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Looking inside this display case at a few of the different tools that were used by the butchering crews.
So I have a similar cabinet in my place. There'd be a stapler, a pen, and maybe a retractable pencil as well.
Ooh.
So I've got a pretty good array of tools myself.
No, absolutely. This was a very, very common injury at the cannery. You were not considered to be a true butcherman until after you had lost your first finger.
Well, it is the same with writing. I mean, calluses, paper cuts.
No, absolutely.
I mean, some writers don't have any fingers at all.
It was actually common for the cannery to have a cat on staff.
Oh yeah?
To get rid of all the mice.
See, that's great. That's the job I could have done here. I could have been the cat.
The cannery cat?
I could have dressed up as a cat. I could have scampered around chasing mice and feasting on fish heads.
Absolutely. So from the guillotine, so to speak, the salmon would be hand-fed into a grip like this one here, and then that rubberized grip is going to take the salmon through a Ferris wheel of blades and brushes.
Yeah, I've had that dream many times. So
the dream of what? What was the dream?
Of being on a Ferris wheel of blades and brushes with fish heads flying about. And I think it means probably that I worked in a cannery in a previous life. Perhaps as a cannery cat. Yeah, slime. Hit me with some slime. Some lovely slime here.
Well, you're exactly right. This was called the sliming table, and this was the place where all the fish coming from the butchering machine would have been cleaned.
Okay.
Now, the water coming out of these taps is coming straight from the Fraser River.
Icy cold.
Absolutely. There's actually written reports of women that would get a huge bucket, and they would put it down on the floor, they would fill it with boiling water, and then they would stand in the almost boiling water so that the blood that is heated at their feet would circulate through the rest of their body to keep themselves warm.
I do that when I'm writing as well, actually.
Just right into a bucket of boiling water?
Warm, yeah. And I also wear gloves.
Yes.
Leather driving gloves, and a monocle, and a top hat.
Okay. So are you ready to see this thing work?
Yes, let's do it.
Again, all of the machines that we operate here at the cannery today are only working at 1/10 the actual speed.
Okay, for safety reasons.
For safety reasons, of course, because we wouldn't want you to lose a finger.
I had a lick of this one though, it's quite tasty. Don't tell me.
Now you remember that finger that was lost earlier?
Yes. I'm slightly convinced that this is a difficult place to work, or was a difficult place to work. Right now I'm sort of 50-50 on whether I prefer to work here or back at my desk in my pajamas. It's like a bluegrass band. I would buy this on CD, I totally would.
Prior to 1900, a strong majority of the salmon produced at this cannery was going over to Great Britain. We put a lot of Canadian propaganda on these labels.
Yes.
Like Mountie brand salmon, Beaver brand salmon,
right.
Maple Leaf brand salmon.
I like this one here, this kind of like, this very attractive young lady here. Give me this sort of cover girl salmon, I definitely would have gone for that one. I think I've been quite dignified so far today in my exploration of the cannery. I'm sure you would agree. This is the best industrial museum in BC, I think. And it really feels like the people who worked here just stepped away. I think you have to tell the stories of these kind of places. I mean, BC was built on these industrial plants. I think that this is how BC started, and you know, Steveston wouldn't be here without the cannery. This is my new look, by the way.
I don't think John could have worked here at all. I mean, he probably would have succumbed to injury on his first day. I'm pretty sold on the idea of him being a cannery cat, though.